Tuesday night, May 19th, Caitlin Clark walks to the free throw line at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Her own head coach reaches out and grabs her by the arm. On national television, Caitlin Clark rips her hand back. 12 hours earlier, on the same Tuesday morning, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway named Caitlin Clark the Grand Marshal of the 110th Indy 500. Same role they've handed to Tamika Catchings, Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, the highest civic honor the city of Indianapolis has ever given a Fever player. The city gave her the microphone in the morning. Her own coach grabbed her arm at night. Now watch the wide shot. 2 rows behind the Fever bench. Kelly Krauskopf is sitting there. Amber Cox is right next to her. The architect was watching. In 5 nights, Sunday, May 24th, Caitlin Clark walks up to the victory podium in front of 350,000 people at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and tells 33 drivers to start their engines. It's the largest single-day sporting event on Earth. That's not bad coaching. That's a portrait. Check the dates. December 15th, 1999. Tuesday morning, May 19th, 2026. Tuesday night, May 19th, 2026. Sunday, May 24th, 2026. Same hand on the wheel every time. We'll get there. Now, about what Indianapolis actually said on Tuesday morning. Because this isn't a marketing favor. This isn't a publicity bone. The Indy 500 Grand Marshal stands on the victory podium and gives the most quoted command in motorsport. Drivers, start your engines, in front of 110 years of tradition. The list of people the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has handed that microphone to includes Larry Bird, Reggie Miller, Peyton Manning, Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and, twice over the last 2 decades, Tamika Catchings, the greatest player in Indiana Fever history. That's the company Indianapolis just put Caitlin Clark in, at 23 years old, in her 2nd professional season. The same Tuesday, her own head coach decided she could be physically handled on the sideline. Now consider what Indianapolis actually did. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway didn't ask the Indiana Fever's permission. They didn't have to. Caitlin Clark is the face of Gainbridge. She's the face of Eli Lilly. She's the face of the city. Indianapolis decided who she is. Tuesday morning made that official. Tuesday night made something else official too. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because if you watch the footage of that grab, this wasn't a passing touch. This wasn't a friendly nudge. This wasn't the back and forth of game intensity. Caitlin Clark was walking toward the free throw line. The game was on national television, and from the sideline, Stephanie White reached out and grabbed Caitlin Clark by the arm. Caitlin Clark ripped her hand back. Look at the face Stephanie White makes when it happens. That's not the face of a coach giving in-game instruction. That's the face of someone who just realized her player had said no to her on camera, in front of a national audience, with the cameras pointed right at them. There's a reason that footage is going to be studied frame by frame for the next 48 hours. There's a reason every comment thread on every fan platform is asking the same question. Because no coach in this league grabs a player like that anymore. Not since the last Indiana basketball coach put hands on a player on camera in 1997 and lost his job over the next 3 years. We're not comparing Stephanie White to Bob Knight. We don't have to. Indiana basketball remembers. But the story isn't Stephanie White. Stephanie White is the symptom. 2 rows behind the Fever bench, right there. Look, Kelly Krauskopf and Amber Cox, sitting next to each other, not in a luxury box, not behind the curtain, 2 rows up, close enough to the bench to hear what's being said, close enough to see Caitlin Clark rip her hand back. Kelly Krauskopf is the president of basketball and business operations for the Indiana Fever. Amber Cox is the general manager. Krauskopf runs the entire basketball operation. Cox runs the day-to-day. Krauskopf hired Stephanie White in November of 2024. Krauskopf approved the offensive system Stephanie White installed. Krauskopf approved the staff that surrounds her. The coach who grabbed Caitlin Clark on national television was Kelly Krauskopf's hire. And Kelly Krauskopf was in the building, 2 rows up, watching it happen. And she didn't move from her seat. That's not an accident. That's a portrait. The architect of the Indiana Fever sat in the stands watching her own design publicly fail. Her hire put hands on her star, and her response was to sit still. But here's the tension. The Indiana Fever weren't always like this. There was a moment, 26 years ago, when Kelly Krauskopf made the decision that ended up wiring this organization for everything that's happened since. Longtime Fever fans remember how Stephanie White ended up in Indianapolis. She came in the December 15th, 1999 expansion draft. before the Fever had ever played a single regular season game. Indiana drafted Sandy Brondello, then traded Brondello to the Miami Soul in exchange for Stephanie White. That trade, Brondello for White, was the very first player transaction Kelly Krauskopf ever made as the Indiana Fever's general manager. 26 years later, Tuesday night, May 19, 2026, the coach Kelly Krauskopf chose in that trade grabbed the arm of the player the Indiana Fever signed to the largest contract in the history of women's basketball. And the coach Kelly Krauskopf traded away in that same trade, Sandy Brondello, is right now building the Toronto Tempo from the ground up. Olaf Lang running her front office, a roster being assembled around her style of play. The Tempo enters the WNBA next season. Read the comments under any Caitlin Clark video tonight. Fans aren't asking whether Caitlin Clark should be traded. They're asking where. And the answer the fans keep landing on, over and over, is Toronto. 26 years ago, Kelly Krauskopf made one trade. That trade built two franchises. One of them is the franchise grabbing Caitlin Clark's arm on national television. The other one is the franchise her own fans want her to play for. And then there's Caitlin Clark's back. She has a documented back injury. She's missed time for it. The Fever's training staff knows. Stephanie White knows. Kelly Krauskopf knows. You don't grab a player with a back injury, not as a stranger on the street, not as a teammate, and definitely not as her own head coach, on national television at the free throw line. Here's the part that should haunt every Fever fan in Indiana tonight. This franchise knows how to protect a star with a back injury. We have receipts. In 2015, Tamika Catchings, the greatest player in Indiana Fever history, was playing her final season with a nagging back injury, and the organization built a protocol around her. 26 minutes per game, maximum. Her playoff load was reduced by 19% in the regular season and 49% in the postseason. The team's public framing was simple. We're protecting her back. The protocol worked. Catchings finished her career on her own terms. And this is the part the franchise can't explain. Stephanie White was the first-year head coach of the Indiana Fever in 2015. She implemented that protocol. She personally protected Tamika Catchings. She knows how to do it. She just chose not to do it for Caitlin Clark. And there's one more piece of this the city of Indianapolis already understands, even if the Indiana Fever can't see it. The same Indianapolis Motor Speedway that named Tamika Catchings Grand Marshal of the Indy 500 twice just named Caitlin Clark to the same role. The city remembers what greatness looks like in this state. The city remembers how to honor it. The city remembers how to protect it. The franchise forgot. Last September, 8 months ago, the Indiana Fever broke ground on a $78 million sports performance center. Kelly Krauskopf stood at the groundbreaking and said it would set a new standard for women's sports. Aaliyah Boston said she couldn't wait to make the building her home. It opens before the 2027 season, 108,000 square feet, 3 stories, the largest training facility in WNBA history. The Indiana Fever can spend $78 million on a building. They can't spend 3 seconds keeping their head coach's hands off the most marketable player in the history of women's basketball. Sunday, May 24th, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, 12:29 p.m. Eastern. Caitlin Clark walks to the victory podium. 350,000 people in the seats, 100 million more watching on Fox, and she gives the most quoted command in American motorsport. That microphone belongs to her now, the same one Tamika Catchings held, the same one Larry Bird held, the same one Reggie Miller held. The city of Indianapolis has decided. The Indiana Fever, Kelly Krauskopf, Amber Cox, Stephanie White, Herb Simon have a 5-night deadline to decide whether they want to be the franchise that holds on to that player or the franchise that grabbed her. And on Sunday, the Indiana Fever have to decide who they're willing to lose.